This is impromptu, so let's see if anybody come on here. Hi, baby. Ooh, my plant has a couple of new leaves coming in. I gotta fill up my water. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? It's a little chilly. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Who's up? Who's up? Who can I rap with for a little bit? Who can I rap with for a little bit? What's good, good? What's good, good? Let's see if we get anybody on here. No trolls, please. No trolls, please. I love seeing new leaves come in on my plants. My Maranta is a bit dry though. I'm not quite doing so right by her, but she's still alive. She's still alive, and we still together. So we gonna get it together. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? I just want to chat with y'all a little bit, a little bit. Although it's 2024, almost 25, and we have a lot of van life channels all over social media. It's funny because people still don't fully grasp. And maybe it's because some people are really kind of iffy and not 100% invested in their choice. Maybe it was just an experiment for them. I don't know. But baby, there's more than one way to live. And some of us, like myself, have always leaned toward an alternative lifestyle, an alternative way to live. It's just, I'm not a sheep and I can think for myself. That's one thing mama used to say, think for yourself. And I do, and I can. And I'm capable of putting together my own choices and then making my decision from my own choices. I don't need to make a decision from the choices that are laid out. I'm not a sheep. I don't need to just say, oh, okay, well, these are the choices that society has given me, so this is my only choice. No, I've never felt like that. They were never talking to me. They weren't talking to me. None of that shit. Work at a job for 20 years. I that's never applied to me. The thought of working at a job for multiple years, that was never meant for me. And I never took that as, oh, I need to do this. No. Because at 14, I said, I'm not going to do that. So you see, I really want people to understand because most of them are adults. I really just want people to understand that some of us out here have always made our own trail and dealt with whatever has come with that, whatever scrutiny, whatever has come with that. Some of us has never gone along to get along. That life isn't meant for everybody. Just being a team player, oh, just be a sport. No, that motto has never been meant for everybody. And so I think we should understand that uh, some people are very comfortable. I, myself, am very comfortable living an alternative lifestyle. I'm very comfortable with that. I am very, very comfortable living my life on my own terms, my way. I'm very comfortable with that. And I have been all of my life. So, I think we lack diversity in acceptance of everyone's individuality. I think that's a huge problem, you know. Just the fact that in this country they create cookie cutter housing, they create housing communities of all the same floor plan, or maybe let's say three or four different floor plans that you, the buyer, can choose from. They create huge complexes, luxury apartment homes with all the same. Just that right there, that mentality lets you know that in America, the society is based on creating a bunch of sheep. And when we think about it in actuality, right, you have a sheep herder or a goat herder or even a farmer, right? You have one one sheep herder and he may have 3 dozen sheep. So you have one man who's able to lead 36, 48, 100, 600 sheep to wherever he wants them to go. That's America. You have these apartment homes that can house 224 families. Let's just say it like that, right? There's 300 units in this building. Everyone goes through the same front door. I mean, isn't that concerning? That's not concerning. When I was a teenager in Minneapolis, I remember I lived on Clinton Avenue and just a block over on 3rd Avenue and then even on 4th Avenue. But anyway, they built they threw these cardboard houses up in 6 months and they all had the same floor plan. And the house color was either yellow or ivory. And they charging mofos hundreds of thousands of dollars to live like the next mofo in paper thin houses. And these are the people that want to think that want to pretend like they think for themselves. Someone designed this for you and said, "Okay, we're going to put you in there. Why do we want you in here? Why do we want everyone in the same floor plan? Why do we create these big apartment homes and complexes and pile a bunch of people in there on top of one another?" Because it's easier to control people when you know exactly what their home look like, when they're coming and going. When you have a bunch of sheep together, it's easier to control. But if you have a society of people that think for themselves, create their own jobs, create their own lifestyle and their own livelihood, it's much harder to control these people because they know how to critically think, they know how to think for themselves, they're going to do what's in their heart to do. They're not going to stay on this job and be miserable because their baby boomer parents said, "Go to school, go to college, get a good job, spend the rest of your adult life trying to pay off the debt from that school. Do your best to keep up with the Joneses," not knowing that the Joneses is trying to keep up with the Johnsons, and the Johnsons are stressed out, killing themselves trying to keep up with the Adamses. And there's no individuality, there's no authenticity, and there's no sanity. Everybody's miserable. You got your people that you go on break with, and y'all talk about how much y'all hate y'all job. Tell me I'm lying. You got your people that you hang out with after work, and you go, to the local speakeasy. the local little neighborhood spot, and y'all pass time is talking about how much y'all hate y'all job, how much y'all hate y'all coworker, how much y'all hate y'all shift, how much y'all cost of living is, how much y'all rent is, how stressed out you are. Everybody has the same freaking conversation. I even hear it as a mobile dweller. I hear it, I see it. So as a teenager, I knew I didn't want them problems because no one's life looked desirable. No damn body was happy. Every damn body was complaining. Every damn body was talking about how much debt they were in. Why would I model my life after that? Why would I want that? Why would I want that? Why would I willingly put myself into that? Why would I put myself in a situation where my outgoing expenses are so unreasonably high to where I can't even I can't even take a break. I have to I have to constantly work 80 hours a week because my outgoing expenses are just through the roof. They're astronomical. I can't breathe. But I'm supposed to willingly put myself into that situation? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because here's what I'm going to tell you. You're not going to find anyone that's going to put you on a 30-year mortgage to pay to buy land. Why not just buy you some land? Why not just live as a family together, stack your money, buy land, actual land somewhere, you know what I mean? And then build the type of home that you want on top. And then build. Don't go and purchase a cookie cutter house. Don't go and purchase a damn cardboard house. You know what I mean? But no, 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 no. I'm supposed to live like that? No. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'll pass. I'll pass on having a job for 20 years working at this company. And then, right when I'm good and comfortable, right when I'm good and comfortable, either I get so sick to where it just wipes out my savings. I'm so sick that I'm sick beyond my short-term disability, my long-term disability, uh, all of my so now I'm wiped out because this sickness. Now I've seen this happen growing up. Now I'm wiped out. Now I lose my job because I'm so sick. And look, business got to carry on. Business got to carry on. I know we like to think that we're important to these companies, but baby, somebody had that position before you. And even if you were the first one in that position, baby, you've been in there long enough, they've been taking notes, they gonna hire somebody else. You sick. You've been sick for 6 months. I don't foresee you coming back. We gotta keep going. So we're gonna go ahead and replace you. Now your savings is wiped out. Now you're all right. You screwed. Or, or here's another an American plot twist: budget cuts. Right? We just came through a whole pandemic where folks was sat down and at home, and if you weren't, what were they calling them? What were they calling them? I don't even remember. But it's like you telling a whole class of people that they're not important. But then the people in the service industry, in the food industry, to right? So now, after being sat down for 2 years, we still don't think for ourselves. We rushing right back into that. So you got the budget cuts out of nowhere, we're gonna let you go. Your whole livelihood. Now you paying $1,700 a month in rent or your mortgage. You got utilities out the yin yang for those who really want to be impressive to those who don't give a damn about them. You got car notes. You got car notes. You got all these utilities. You got uh kids with a bunch of unnecessary things you got to pay for, extracurriculars that you got to pay for, and now you done just been a victim of budget cuts. And I was supposed to see that as something desirable to put myself into. No, I never saw that as desirable because nobody made it look desirable. Nobody made it look like nobody looked happy. None of them were rich. Look, I don't want that. I don't want to live. I didn't even like wearing the same thing. I have my own style of dress. So, no, I wasn't going to shop at 9 West. I wasn't going to shop at Express. Every goddamn female in Minnesota and Minneapolis was shopping at Express. Why the fuck I want to shop? All it takes is one time for me to have on something and I see a chick with it. I'm never shopping there again. I'm never shopping there again. What? So I'm supposed to live in a house that looked just like the chick next door to me and the family next door this way. Nah, it just never appealed to me. It never appealed to me. And I think, the same way I don't just lash out on people, like I don't just go on people's social media accounts talking crap about the fact that they live in a traditional home or whatever their case may be. But people living in traditional homes who have never lived any sort of alternative lifestyle like to come down on those of us who have lived that life and now choose a different way of living. You know what I mean? There's more than one way to do anything, and there's definitely more than one way to live. And to live a cookie cutter life, that's never been my style. That has never been my style. And the things that most people have done, I literally have never done. I have never lived a regular traditional life. My life has been really unorthodox all of my adult life. All of my adult life. And it hasn't been anything that anyone would look at and say, oh, I want to. But in the after effects, I have had a couple of my girlfriends tell me recently, since I've been here in Cali, I admire the fact that you do what you want to do. I admire the fact that what, like one of my girlfriends, she said for her, two of them actually, for them, having a stable, stationary home, for them is security. And the one who's like a big sister to me was like, I admire the fact that anything that's in your head and in your heart to do, you're going to do it. I wish I could be more like that, but it's just terrifying to me. And I need the stability of I live here. These are my keys to there. And, I really loved hearing her say that to me because it's true. To me, that is that is a trap. To me, that's a trap. Just living in one place, even just living in one state. I couldn't imagine being born and raised and dying in the same place where I was born. I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't imagine St. Louis, Missouri being the only place that I've ever lived. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. Baby, this world is big. Even this country is huge. There's no way I could just be in one spot for all of my life and just know that one thing. No, like that give me heart palpitations just thinking about it. Just thinking about, oh, I grew up in this house. That has never, for me, for Shalonda Elise, that's never been a flex. That's never been a flex. But I get it. For some, it is. And I don't knock it. I'm just saying, I think we should appreciate the diversity of some people who do think for themselves and who do make their own way and live their own life. I think that's beautiful. I think the beauty in that is we can really share a, a spirited conversation. You don't have to live that way. But wouldn't it be nice to be able to have a non judgmental conversation with someone who does live that way? And y'all are able to just enjoy one another's company and presence and hear about their lifestyle? You know what I mean? They're not forcing it on you. You don't have to do that, not by any stretch of the imagination. But don't judge the people who don't think that living according to society is the route for them, because that's not the route for me. When my kids were young, the doctors would try and tell me that they're too big and um, they need speech lessons and this and that. And I'm thinking, I'm like, no, I know. And I was a young mom. I knew that was, I never, they couldn't tell me nothing about my kids because, for one, the doctor is someone who looks totally different from me. I'm not saying just in ethnicity, but I mean a different height, a different weight. So why shouldn't kids, people, be different? My children right now, my daughter is 5'10". So of course she was gonna be bigger growing up. She had to reach her height. My son is 6'4". Of course he's gonna be bigger than the other kids in his same age and class. He's gotta reach his damn height. So you can't tell me. And as a young mom, I used to tell other young moms, I'm like, how can you let these people tell you that your kids are too big or too small? You know what I'm saying? I got a girlfriend, her daughter is like 4'11". So, no, she wasn't too small for her size or her age. She's small. She's small. So, just because all the other 5-year olds are this height and weight, you see what I'm saying? Why does there's not just one paradigm for how people should move and live and think. And this is why people need to think for themselves and why people need to read books, read the dictionary. And I'm not joking with that. Like, read, read, consume information. You know what I mean? Because when you can think for yourself, when you can see past the fluff and the bullshit and the nonsense, you're able to be quick on your feet and say, well, no, that's no, that no, no offense, do it that way for you, but I see a different way for me. I see a different way for me. You know, there's not just one way, and there's not just 5 ways. There's, who remembers the show, A Million Ways to Die, or that, whatever it was. There's a million ways to do everything. And all it takes is a free thinking, creative individual to figure it out for themselves. That's it. Hey, Misty, we never got to sit down. The medical field is always popping. We need more nurses, medical assistants. Everyone is medical. Yeah, it's not for everybody. Hey, pizza. Yeah, everybody can't do everything. You know what I mean? Everybody can't do everything. So, we need more scientists. We need more black scientists. We need more black men and women, boys and girls in STEM. How about that? How about that? Because if we had more people thinking for themselves and doing their own research, they wouldn't be eating this deadly standard American diet. So maybe the nurses could have time to sit down because y'all aren't feeding them a bunch of bull crap, including the lies that y'all are feeding society in the medical industry. You know what I mean? Maybe if the medical industry promoted people eating for their blood type and not the uh, heart attack inducing, not the blood sugar spiking standard American diet, Maybe the nurses could breathe, but y'all got to take some responsibility and accountability yourselves. Y'all got to take some accountability yourselves. The American medical industry is promoting death. So, I mean, y'all promote the band aids. Y'all don't promote actual healing of anything. So, I mean, y'all don't make anybody want to be a nurse. Y'all don't make anybody want to go into the medical field. I mean, shit. Let's take some accountability here. And that's all I'm saying about everything in life. If if people thought for themselves, and if people did their own research and took time to go down rabbit holes of their own life, we wouldn't even need to blame anyone and everyone else. You know what I'm saying? We could just know, just like I did, that ain't for me. That ain't for me. Oh, that's definitely not for me. Yeah, don't even talk to me about that because I'm not doing that. I'm doing me my way. That's it. I'm only gonna live my life my way because I'm the one that gotta live it. I'm the one when I'm pretending, oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm backing down drinks, just like Megan Thee Stallion said when she was partying, miserable, miserable. Yeah, they was pouring drinks down her mouth. She was like, everybody saw me. They would see me crying. Girl, shut them tears. Come on, let's go, let's go. Miserable. And they will help you. They'll help you kill yourself. They will help you kill yourself. You got to take your own life into your hands. You got to take your own direction into your hands. You got to take your own livelihood into your hands, your own health, your own ambition, your own everything. It's up to you. And you can't blame anyone else. You know, it's up to you. And if you feel like all the lies being pumped out in this country by the shiploads. If you decide that you're gonna go that route, hey, more power to you. Cause you see everyone's miserable. But that's okay, right? Because you want the Audi, you want, the 2024, whatever it is. You don't want the Chrysler that looks like the Phantom. You want the Phantom, right? You want the debt that comes with the Phantom. You want the stress that comes with the Phantom. You want the not being around your family that comes with maintaining and acquiring. Like you want all of that. So Shalonda Elise doesn't sympathize for the mass majority of society who are depressed and who are overweight and who are, all of the things that they are. I don't sympathize with them at all because you made that decision and you made that decision seeing the outcome. You made that decision seeing the outcome. But, you couldn't see the truth because you just saw the pretty cars outside in the driveway. You just saw the pretty house. You don't see the fact that they paid two they paid $2.2 million for this house, for this less than 2,500 square foot house, right here in Southern California. And you don't see the fact that by the time they moved into that home after the purchase, now, and some renovations, but by the time they moved into the home has depreciated by $200,000 already. So now you're already in the negative. See, these are the facts that you don't see. Why? Because you're not looking for them. You're not looking for these facts. You're not doing that type of research on Zillow. You're not doing that type of research because this is public information. This information is out there. You could easily see how much someone bought this home for and how much it's worth right now. They bought the home, let's say, 6 months ago. You see how much they paid for it, and you see what it's worth right now today. And with the economy the way it is, um, I don't see any chance of breaking even. Just breaking even because you put money into the house. You put money into the house to renovate. Let's say you put 75,000 into it. You paid 2.2 million for it. Now you put 75,000 into it. And again, by the time you move in, it's already worth $200,000 less. It has already depreciated. Yeah, so I just never saw that for me. Again, there's more than one way to live. There's more than one way to cook a meal. Let's just learn to really ask healthy questions and appreciate the diversity of everyone, of individuality. It's a beautiful thing to be an individual and to live like an individual. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It truly, truly is. But I guess it's easier to be a sheep because you don't have to think. You don't have to think about how you're going to get money for your next meal, where you're going to live, how you don't have to think about it, you know? You just have to go. You don't even have to read the employee handbook because they're going to tell you what to do and they're going to tell you when you're doing wrong. So you just got to go to work. You just got to go to work, you know. They have adults very, very, very okay now with asking permission. A couple years ago, I was looking for some interns to work with me. And one of the questions that I asked the intern is, and she was a young African girl, I said, "Do you think it's better to ask permission or ask forgiveness?" And I like that she thought it was better to ask forgiveness. You damn right. What am I asking? Who am I asking permission to? I'm grown as hell. I'd rather ask forgiveness. I'm not asking permission for nothing. You gonna come find me, Shalonda? Where were you at? I was in the bathroom. I had to shit. I don't care that it's not my 15-minute break. My bowels didn't care that it was not my 15-minute break. So I'm supposed to sit here, try and hold my bowels in to keep taking these goddamn calls back to. No, no, no. And guess what? In 10 minutes, when it is my 15-minute break, guess who gonna be on her break outside smoking a blunt? The fuck? That was really me. I do whatever I want to do. I don't care. I don't care who don't look. You're already paying me pennies on the hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars. Now I'm supposed to sit here and shit on myself because it's not my break? Or I'm supposed to do it in 5 minutes because I only get two 5-minute bathroom breaks? You know where you can take that? You know where you can take that? Yeah, I've always been a rebel, but but they have adults very comfortable now with that, very comfortable with asking permission. Yeah, no, no. I knew as a teenager that I can figure shit out for myself. I'm an avid reader, I'm a critical thinker, and I like to think. Not only am I a critical thinker, but I like to think. I've told many people just be quiet for a minute so I can think. Just let me think. Before you start talking, just let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Give me a minute. God damn. Give me a minute to fucking think. I like to think. That's why I love my solitude. I love my solitude because, baby, I wasn't a talkative ass wife and I'm not a talkative woman. I like to be quiet and I like to think because I can do it very well for myself. That's why I didn't let them doctors tell me my kids were anything. You can't tell me nothing about them. All right? You going to tell me a 3-year old needs speech lessons because her G's are D's and her C's are T's. She's 3. She hold a better conversation than you do though. I bet you that. She holds a better conversation at 3 than you do. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, she's 32 now, but I'm just saying that was my life, and I wouldn't let you can't tell me this 3-year-old needs speech less. No, she's learning how to talk. But here you are, 29. Why the fuck don't you know how to enunciate better? Why can't you enunciate better? Why are you chewing up your words? Why are you mumbling? You grown as hell. Why are you mumbling? She's 3. He's 2. You know, let's keep it 1,000 here, okay? Don't come telling me. And this is what I'm talking about. Baby, look. So I'm an advocate of think for yourself. That is why my motto is there is no box. Think freely. Don't think outside the box. Do you see the restrictions in that? Because I did as a teenager, as I was standing there on the block and I'm visualizing a box in my head. I'm visualizing a box. This is not bullshit. I'm dead ass. And I'm visualizing a box. And so now I'm trying to think outside of the box that I had to visualize. And here's why I say it's restrictive, because you have people that it opens up another box of, well, how far outside of the box should I think? Well, I don't want to think too far outside the box because what if most people aren't really thinking that far? You see what I'm saying? There is no box. There's no box. There's no box. Just think freely. Allow your mind to be free. As grand as you can think, don't suppress it. An oak tree isn't going to say, I'm just going to grow to be 10 feet tall, knowing damn well that it can grow to 25 and 50 feet. An oak tree is not going to suppress itself just because there are pine trees next to it. Well, the pine tree can't do what I can do, and the pine tree isn't as hard and solid as I am. So I'm an oak tree. I'm going to grow to be 27 feet tall, and I'm going to be proud of being 27 feet tall because the wood that comes from me is a beautiful hard wood. So I gotta, you see what I'm saying? There is no box. There is no box. Don't think outside of anything. Just think. Just think freely and often. Just think freely and often. Okay? Love your logic. You're my kind of people. I know that's right. Hey, Bonnie. I know that's right. Well, I'm being for real. That's really that I've always been a daydreamer. That used to be on my progress reports as a little bitty kid. I am a daydreamer and I'm very visual. I'm very, very visual. I see words. So, yeah, I think I was probably like 13 years old. Think outside the box. Because as a Gen Xer, like, I just used to hear that a lot growing up. Think outside the box. And I'm like, that's so restrictive. Think outside the box. Why don't I just eliminate the fucking box? How about that? Can I just eliminate the box and just think, you know? Because I have some weird, quirky ideas. And so maybe they're just way too far outside of the box. So now I'm going to limit myself and say, no. Like Tyler the Creator said, I saw a little clip. He said if he ever have a kid, he'd give him some Legos and just give him the Legos with no box because he wouldn't want them to see whatever they have displayed on the box and think that's what they have to recreate. No, they're Legos. You can attach them together however you want to. However you want to. And I said, that young man right there is a smart independent thinker. because there is no box. Just think freely and listen to your heart. Do what's in your heart to do and live your life on your terms. Because at the end of the day, here's what I can tell you. Nobody, and you hear wealthy people and celebrities say this, but no one who ever lived on their own terms, and this I can guarantee you, and you can go into some nursing homes and see this fact. No one who has ever lived on their own terms were on their deathbed like, you know what? I regret not going along to get along. It's only the people who went along to get along and did what society said to do who have all the regrets, because there were so many things in their heart. Their inner voice was telling them and screaming to do all these things, and their inner child that they just abandoned and left behind just never got to fulfill any of their visions. And on their deathbed, they're like, I wish I didn't take more risks. I regret not doing this or not taking that chance or not. No one ever said, I regret being a free thinker. I just wish I wouldn't have lived on my own terms. It seemed like the people who lived according to society's standards and just limited themselves, they just really seemed like they had it all. Yeah, no, said no one ever. Said no one ever. So that's just not the life for me. I don't knock anybody. I don't knock anybody because you got to do what's comfortable for you. And for me, it's comfortable. For me, living an alternative lifestyle is comfortable. I'm not saying I will always live in a vehicle, but in some capacity, I will always have a vehicle to live in. Let me say it like that. When I buy my land, I'm still going to be living in a vehicle. When I buy my land, I'm going to build from the land. I don't want some big anything. No, no, no. It's if I can build it, if wherever I buy my land, there's clay and I build, that's the natural resource that you can build from. That's what it's gonna be. You know what I mean? It's gonna be some nice little, probably circular something. It's small little something, but it's always going to be an alternative way to live, and it's always going to be on my own. It's going to be completely off the grid, not on the electricity grid, not on the water grid, not on any grid at all. I don't need these people to look. I got light right now and I don't get a bill for it. I'm on Wi-Fi right now. I'm connected to free Wi-Fi right now. You know what I'm saying? And there's just, as a young adult, I used to have these conversations in Minneapolis. I'm like, everything that we need for our survival is found in nature. Clothing, everything we need is a natural resources to make clothes, for food, for medicine, for shelter, even transportation. Everything we need is natural, a natural resource, and free to us as humans. So I the biggest setup for me as a teenager, I was like, the dumbest thing ever is utilities. Who am I who am I paying for lights when the sun shines for free? Who am I paying for heat? I got a little space heater, a little bitty space heater that plugs into my power station right up front. Who am I paying for these utilities? And if they were brilliant enough to create a business, hear me out. Hear me out. This is a business. Southwestern Bell, all these utility companies, those were entrepreneurs who started those businesses that have their last name attached to it. This is a business. This is capitalism. And I'm pro capitalism. That's why I'm not involved in that shit, because I'm not a sheep and I don't have just a consumer mind. I understand this is business. So you created a business so that all the other sheep can pay you. And so that your great, great, great grandchildren will never have anything to worry about. And I'm supposed to fall in line right with that when I got my own light right here. I got my own light right here. Just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. In my 20s, I used to always have lanterns, the oil lamps. Yeah, for light and heat. Yeah, come on now. Come on now. It's business. And I'm not in the business of Shalonda Elise of just paying other people or just giving away money. Let me say that. I'm not in the business of just giving away money to people. I'm not in that business. That's not how I manage me. That's not how I manage the business of being Shalonda Elise. You know what I mean? So I know there are things that I have to pay for. There are some resources that I have to pay for. I'm okay with that. But the bulk of my life, the majority of my life and my livelihood is not built around paying entrepreneurs for my basic necessities. That seems asinine to me. That seems absolutely ridiculous to me. And I'm willing to live on my own terms. That's another big thing. That's how they're able to build these 500 unit apartments because many people are not willing to live on their own terms. Because why? It requires a lot of thinking. It requires a lot of thinking. Even being a content creator requires discipline, consistency, regularity. You know what I mean? Thinking. Even that, even to get to where you are getting paid for being a content creator, it's not something that everyone can do. Trust me, I know. I've talked to a lot of people over the course of having social media accounts, and one of my Instagram pages getting really big, and people saying they want, because I asked who wants to be a content creator, because I was doing some um, light mentorship with that. And it's just like people really have a hard time being consistent with just posting. Consistent. Just turn on the camera, record your life or whatever it is you're doing that in the capacity of what you're doing, and then just post it. And people have a really hard time being consistent. They criticize themselves, they critique themselves so much, and then they talk themselves out of posting it. Oh well, oh well. So there are a few other people that realize that decades and centuries ago. So they say, okay, let's keep all the sheep together. And as we go, and we see it like people, they're building up, they're building out, and now they're creating, what are they called? Smart communities. They're creating, there's one right up the street here in Newport Beach where they have, again, these luxury apartment homes, right? It's just fancy apartment building. And within that apartment building, you have your concierge, you have everything you need. Because keep in mind, what COVID showed the thinkers is that, okay, we can have all these sheep work from home, which is going to save us money. It's going to cut down costs. We won't have workers' comp. We won't have the benefits. We won't, oh man, we're going to save a shit ton of money. So now let's do better. So let's build these smart communities and we put everything they need in there. We put a small little grocery store in there, concierge, bookstore, a gym. We put everything they need in there so they never even have to leave their cell. They never have to leave their cell. And that's where we're at right now. That's where we're at right now. And they love it. Like the sheep are just gobbling it up. They love it. They love it. They're bragging. Oh, we got, I what prepaid. What is it? I think 199,000 for a two-bedroom, and I'm talking about the one up the street here. Or it's they range between I think 199,000 to 215,000 or something like that, if I remember correctly. Seeing it on the and they got everything in there, and they bragging, and then you got off-street parking. And some of them I know, some of them are building an underground garage uh, that you have to pay additionally for. You got to pay additionally if you want that underground parking. You see how they just siphoning money out of people. So people are working harder, longer, and seeing less of their money, and their outgoing expenses are way more. This is crazy. This is crazy on behalf of the sheep. The sheeple is like, why are people accepting this? Why are people accepting this? Because it's easier. And no matter how scary it may seem or be, it's still not as scary as thinking for yourself and having to figure out your own life for yourself. It's still not as scary as that. And that's a shame. That's a shame. That's a shame. You have, I mean, we've heard all these different situations. You've heard situations of family homes being foreclosed on because, maybe maybe it's the grandparents' home, and then they died, right? Or, grandpa died and grandma's now in the nursing home. It's fucked up alone. And all the kids, they live in a different state, and or maybe they're not paying taxes or on the home, and so now they come and take it. They foreclose on it. Now the bank owns the home because the bank always owned the home. See, I went to school in Minnesota, right? And when my mom moved me to Minnesota, it was not diverse. It was still lily white. So I got taught what they teach their children. So while other places in more predominantly black cities were having slavery shoved down their throat, I was being taught the real deal about America and about the mortgage and about the banking system. So, from a freshman in high school, I never had a desire to buy a home in the United States because I know that you don't own that home. I know that the bank owns the home. I know that. I know that. And the insurance companies own the bank. I know that. So, why would I ever want to do that? Why would I ever? Why do you think they're able to offer people to buy their home when they want to build up an apartment, when they want to build up something? You know what I'm saying? If you don't own the plot of land that's on, you're SOL. You are SOL. So it's just like, some things are scarier to some than it is to others. Some people get a thrill out of skydiving. Some people are so afraid of heights that, they won't even fly or can't even look down if they're high up, or, any number of situations. It's just everyone has different tolerance levels, if you will. But for me, um, living according to someone else's say has just never been my type of vibe. Never been. I've never given a damn to do what anyone says to do, including my family. Including my family. I was that little girl that all like they called me hard headed or whatever. Um, I'm gonna do what I want to do. You calling me to come in? I'm not ready to come in. I understand that now that I'm coming in 30 minutes later, I'm about to get a whooping. Oh well, I'm about to take this whooping because guess what? Tomorrow I'm gonna be right back outside. And guess who learned a better lesson? My aunties did. You know why? Because they knew, okay, when Shalonda hungry, she gonna come in. You know what I'm saying? The only time it was easy to call me in was when it was time to come in for the night because I know it's getting dark. I know I gotta come in. But it's bright middle of the day and you calling me in to come eat? No, I'm not coming. I'm not coming. You can keep sending my cousin. I'm not come. Here I come. Here I come. Here I come. And then 30, 45 minutes later, here I come. Shit. You interrupted me. I'm out here chilling. I'm not bothering you. What you bothering me for? You know what I'm saying? What are you bothering me for? You would know if I was hungry. You know if I was hungry. Cause I'll be in this house looking for something to eat. Don't bother me. Don't bother me. Same thing as a teenager. You know. I'm gonna do what I want to do. And I'm gonna accept the consequences that come with that. Because no consequence is stronger than me. Nobody's getting off this ride alive. That's another one of my mottos. No one is getting off this ride alive. I'm not going to live with a bunch of restrictions and I'm not going to live according to someone else. Nobody's getting off this ride in this flesh alive. So, guess what? Shalonda Elise is going to do Shalonda Elise's thing and she's going to do it her way. That's just it, flat out. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to do my thing my way. And I don't care about that. I don't care about none of that. I move really slow, right? So growing up, that was even as an adult. Like my kids, their paternal family used to their great grandmother. She used to, and I used to think, you don't have to look at me. Oh, you move so slow. She was the meanest bitch. Oh, you move so slow. I've been hearing that my whole life. And my comeback was, God took his time making me. I move slow and I move deliberate. I move with intention. I'm not a real fast mover, you know. I take action quick, but I don't my movements are deliberate. My movements are precise. I move with intention, you know. So to the average people, I move slow. And I do. I do move slow. And I'm proud of that because I'm very intentional with my movements. You know what I mean? I'm not a messy person. I don't make a mess. I don't move like that. I'm very intentional. I'm very deliberate. I'm very precise. I'm very thorough and I'm very specific. And that's how I move. But that's how I was made and that's how I was made to move. Why should I feel bad about that? Why should I feel ashamed about that? I'm Shalonda Elise. You will never, ever, ever in your lifetime meet another Shalonda Elise born to Gwendolyn Margaret by way of John Allen. Like, I'm the only one. I'm the only one. I'm the only one of me that you'll ever in your life meet. You may meet somebody that reminds you of me, but you'll never meet another Shalonda Elise, baby. I am the one and only, one of one. I am a rare breed, and I have always waved that flag. I'm not ashamed of that. It's not too many other people you're gonna meet with a top and bottom gap. It's not too many people you're gonna meet, baby, like Shalonda Elise, and you're welcome for that. You are welcome for that, you know? And we all need to take pride in who we are. And I think we need to live like that. We need to live like that. How beautiful would this world be if everyone just lived in their own authenticity? It would be beautiful if I do say so myself. The world would be beautiful, even more so. It would be even more beautiful if there were more diversity, if there were more individuality. That's what I advocate. That's what I advocate, you know? So that's just it. There's more than one way to live, there's more than one way to do anything, and just find your lane, live in your lane. Hey, Christina, let me read some of y'all stuff. It is before the whole world is built like that, unfortunately. I live by God's standard and what He taught me. Nobody tells me what to do ever. I know that's right. You are speaking some serious truth. I'll be moving in my van full time in just a few short weeks. I'll have no regrets. I know that's right. If I can't get my own van soon, I'll be. I started in Hotel Honda. I started in a 97 Honda Accord because that's what I had at the time. And a tent. Sick of giving away money. I know that's right. I worked my whole life, worked 40, now disabled. See? And only get. See what I'm talking about? Public streets they don't want us to park on, yet our taxes pay for them. Exactly. Exactly. You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? But again, this is a big country that we live in. And it took a UK dude, a European dude. I don't know if anyone else maybe saw this reel or short or whatever it was. But it started off with an American woman and she was saying how Europeans are always talking about Americans are not well traveled, and then he cut into the video saying, as a European, um, I see why. He said, I'm here living in America now, traveling America because I wanted to, see the different states in America. And he said, America, he said, each state is like their own country. He said they don't have to they don't have to travel abroad. He said Americans go on vacation in America. They just go to other states. In every state, and I really had to acknowledge the fact that what he said is true because I've even said this as an American a couple of decades ago. Because again, I was a nomad before I was a mobile dweller. So I've lived in many different states, and you have many different, like, every state does its own thing. And you have some states like Minnesota. If you go to Minnesota, let's say you're a nurse, you can't just transfer your nurse license over in Minnesota. No, you got to take their test. You have to get qualified by them. Your driver's license. You can't just take your active driver's license from whatever state, USA, and think you just going to transfer your active driver's license to Minnesota. No, because they have their own laws of the road. So you got to take their written test. Yes, your license is still active. It's not expired. It's just from wherever state. And that is how this country is. He said this country's so big they don't need to. They don't need to. He said, whereas us, he said, I can be in Paris and Amsterdam is 45 minutes away. And this is what he said. And I was like, I had no idea. I had no I had no idea. You can drive for 4 hours in the same state. and still be in the same state. You can drive for 6 and 8 hours in the same state and still be in the same state. You know what I'm saying? You can take, you can drive for 12 hours and still be in the same state. And I don't think we really understand the magnitude of that. And that's why I think it's just crazy to just live in the same state where you, like, the way I see it, I didn't choose for me to be born in St. Louis, but I couldn't imagine choosing to live there my whole life when there are so many other states in this country that I can put myself in. Like, why would I just want to know one thing? Because every state has their own culture. People do things the way they do it in that state. And then you got the differences of certain cities depending on how far between the states you go. It's just so it just when I saw that, it really made me realize how big this country is for one, and it answered a question that I always had because I've always seen that Europeans do travel very freely. I've had several European pen pals, and it's just like they can be in London and take holiday to Switzerland, and they're going to the Netherlands, and it's just like, how do y'all just travel so freely? And I thought it was more of a monetary type thing. And that's a part of it too, but also the way the guy said these countries are not as, and these are whole countries, these are whole other countries, they're not as spread out as how America, you know it's just, it's a trip, but I think that it's something that he pointed out that we should be a bit more proud of. We should be a bit more proud of the fact that we can take holiday in our own country. On one hand. On the other hand, I do also see where it's another part of keeping us trapped in here when it comes to the finances. Because let's take Disneyland. Is Disneyland the one that's here in Cali? The fact that this country, the powers that be, monetize off of their own citizens, I think that's a bit shady. It's like, how many people are coming from around the world to visit the attractions here in this country? How many people from around the world are flocking to the United States every year to see the attractions that are here? The attractions that are here are set up for us to continue to take our money. You know what I mean? We work our ass off to barely be able to pay this and that, and then we save up because the big dream is to take your kid to Disneyland. Why isn't the big dream to take your kid across the waters? Why? Do you see where I'm coming from? So, like, I appreciated having that pointed out, but from the financial aspect, I still see the setup. I still see the setup in that. I mean, you have Americans who, and this was a part of it, who have never had a passport. And the European dude was like, they don't need a passport. They just take holiday in their own country. And the setup is because we, we're being stuck like pigs and bled out for the money that we're literally dying to make. And then to not comfortably be able to save up this money so that we ourselves and our children can see other parts of the world. That's crazy. That's crazy. But you have Europeans who literally travel to different countries. There are other European countries, but they're still different countries, not just different states or cities. You know what I'm saying? One of my pen pal friends, uh, this was maybe 15 years ago, uh, was sending his daughter to Sweden or Switzerland for holiday. And I was just like, that's dope. That's dope. And that's just how they get down, going to Portugal. You like I have a friend right now today. He's Irish and he just, moved between this place and that place, and it's just the financial burden isn't the same as it is for us. Hey, welcome, welcome. Welcome. Peace to India. That's what's up. We got India in the building. So yeah, I just um I just think there's beauty in individualism and diversity in lifestyles. I think that's beautiful. I was married to a West African and just sharing cultural conversations was so beautiful to me. I've been around Africans pretty much my whole life. My mom was friends with Trinidadians, people from um, 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 matter of fact, she had an Indian friend. Well, the woman was American, her husband was Indian. Um, I don't know why this other country escapes me, but just having a very diverse friendship. Um, I had African girlfriends in high school, and you just learn a lot about uh, people's real culture, not the lies America tells you, but just the reality of it. And so hearing like when my ex husband and I used to talk, and he was like, he would when the bills would come, he literally would be up all night just pacing. Cause one day he was like, I don't see how y'all do it. How can y'all sleep? Like all the utility bills just came in 1 week. How can y'all sleep? He said it's not like this in Africa. You buy your land, you build your compound, and we build out of concrete, and this is the family compound. And he said you just buy your things, you just pay it one time or once a year, or he was just like this. And this 30 days, it comes around so fast. We know that. You getting the bill every 17 days, and it's just like every 28 days you got to pay. It's stressful. It's stressful. And then you can like for me, for example, speak for myself, right? And every other paycheck is like, okay, from rent is all you're doing is counting bills. You're just counting bills. That's how you look at your paycheck. Bills. This one, I'm gonna pay the utilities. This one, okay, this gonna be my rent or mortgage. This and trying to save. And then what's the point in saving money in a bank when they're giving you 0.1% or 0.2%? And then you have the fractional reserve banking where they can take 90% of your money and they're going in and investing it. They're investing 90% of the money that you put in the bank and they're making profit off of it. Fractional reserve banking. Instead of doing your own investments, doing your own investment, opening up your own, not a 401k through your job, but your own Roth IRA, or you're getting your own mutual fund, like you're doing your own research to learn about investing and invest your money on your own, and you know where it's going. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. It's just crazy. So because I do that and I choose to live this lifestyle, and whether I live traditionally or not, I choose to live below my means. As my means increase, I'm still going to live below them, well below them, very well below my means, because I don't feel the need to dish out a lot of money. I don't feel comfortable dishing out a lot of money just for shits and giggles. I'm just going to dish out a lot of money just because I don't need to. I don't need to for my survival or for my comfort level. I can be very comfortable with everything I need and not paying a bunch of different people from my income. That doesn't make me comfortable. I'm paying this person for rent. I'm paying these two or three or four different people for utilities. I'm paying another different somebody for whatever type of insurance that they blow smoke up my ass that I need, that I legally don't need. I'm also paying a different person for this insurance. And then I'm paying a different person for, that's just ridiculous. And I've always saw it as ridiculous. So that's all I wanted to say, is that, there's more than one way to live. And don't knock those of us who don't live the way the mass majority of society lives. We don't need to. We don't need to. Um, that's the beauty in it. But we have lived that way. So I know I'm not missing anything except for sleepless nights, stress, and counting paychecks by who I got to give money to. That's all I'm missing. That's all I'm missing. And neighbors that I don't want to hear above or below or beside me, whether you in a house or not. I lived in one of my girlfriend's houses when I was healing after I was sick. Walls, paper thin, because they just throwing these cardboard houses up so quick so they can get these people in here. You know what I'm saying? They need to fill them so that they don't have to carry the mortgage. They just need to fill them. So let's just use the the cheapest product that we can use where the house won't just completely collapse when a strong wind blow. But yeah, from one side of the house to another, you can hear somebody turning on the shower. You can hear somebody whispering, "Baby, I don't need to live like that. I don't need to live with people right next door to me. These houses, these houses are built so close together. You right on top of one another. You paying all this money, and then the only thing you do is sleep in there anyway, because you got to spend all your time outside to pay for it. You have Americans working 2 and 3 jobs. That's another something I've always said. You not ever gonna get me to do that. I'm not working all these goddamn jobs just to live, just to live. No. And then you have people talking crap about tipping or not tipping. You know what? Don't come telling me if I can't afford this and that, I shouldn't do this and that. How about if the owner of this place can't afford to pay you a living wage, then they should be out here taking the orders or doing the this or doing the that. Maybe they don't need employees yet. Don't blame the customers for not paying your wage. Blame yourself for going to that job and filling out the application, and blame your employer for not paying you a living wage, a livable wage. I think tipping is a bunch of nonsense. You have servers getting paid $2 and some an hour, $5 and some hour, minimum wage. Who honestly, honestly, With the cost of living, even if minimum wage is $15 an hour, who can live off that when their rent is $1,400 a month? That's just rent alone. Who can live off 15, $17 an hour? Honestly, minimum wage across the country needs to be $25 an hour. Base minimum wage. Let's just keep it 1,000. Let's just keep it 1,000. Minimum wage base needs to be $25 an hour. And that is just going to get you to where, okay, you can, for sure you're going to be able to pay your bills. But you're not balling with $25 an hour and your rent is 1,400 a month, 1,700 a month, 1,950 a month, $2,200 a month. Just rent, not utilities, not groceries, not anything that your household needs. Just the roof over your head is multiple thousands of dollars every 30 days. That's insane. That's insane. Am I the only one that thinks that's crazy as fuck? That's what I'm saying, Bonnie. That's still not a, but that's what, but ain't that more than whatever it is now? Ain't that more than whatever it is now? But with the level of irresponsibility across the board with Americans, people will get that base pay of $25 an hour and think they balling out. I mean, I'm just keeping it 1,000. And we know that's not a lot because what is the statistic nowadays? Families making $150,000 a year right now are said to be living paycheck to paycheck. 150,000, a family making 150,000 right now, the statistic is they're living paycheck to paycheck, hand to mouth. And people wonder why I say I have no intentions on ever buying a house in a traditional manner. I have no intentions on ever doing that. I don't feel a desperate need to pay somebody thousands of dollars a month for this for a shelter. I have shelter right now, and it may not be ideal for anyone else. It doesn't need to be. It's mine. It suits me and it's ideal for me. And you know what? I breathe very easily. I'm not stressed out at all. I'm not stressed out at all. I sleep until I wake up. I've been able to focus and really think. I've been able to try different things for my own creativity. I've been able to explore different things and really see where I want to go and where I want to take, building something. I'm able to comfortably establish myself as a full time earning, actual income earning content creator. I'm able to do that. I'm able to do that and not stress about how long it's going to take. It don't matter to me how long it's going to take because I'm resilient and I'm uh, determined. So it doesn't matter. But if I was dishing out hundreds of dollars a month or thousands of dollars a month for my shelter, yes, now I have a sense of urgency like no other. Like I need this to pop off. I need this to pop off. I need something to pop off. I'm so desperate because these 30 days is coming around quick, and I don't have that. I don't have that at all. And when I moved into Hotel Honda in 2017, I knew that was the right choice for me, because I was like, at that point, now I can freely and comfortably figure out how to be an entrepreneur and which path I'm going to take. And I knew just that alone, just eliminating even the rent from renting a room with someone, I just knew that for me, that was the way to go. And I already like living tiny. I like and I prefer living small. So it was the best option for me. It was the absolute best option for me because of everything I just said. And being able to try different things, explore different avenues, explore different um, services and business ideas and all of that without the stress of this huge outgoing expense every 30 days. And then having to stay on the go. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to constantly have to be on the go. I want to enjoy breathing. I like to enjoy breathing. I can breathe easily. I can breathe slowly. Let me say that I can breathe slowly. I don't have any anxiety about tomorrow. I don't have any anxiety about this, that, and the third. For me, it works. For me, it's absolutely perfect. And as my income increases, I damn sure won't ever have the desire to just dish out money. Because when my income, when my active income was at a very nice amount for me living here, I didn't feel the need to just create outgoing expenses for myself. I was bringing in just right under $5,500 a month, and my outgoing was 300, and I was comfortable. Like I that was just the necessity of everything I had. That was in my last home, the Mercedes Mansion. $300 a month max was my outgoing, and that included everything. That was my outgoing monthly expense, and my income was 5,450 on my own. I had 7 clients on my own. My clients paid me directly. There was no, I don't work through any middleman. I can figure it out for myself. I didn't need to work through a middleman. That was all mine. That was all mine. It was on me, you know? So uh, it's possible. It's possible. It isn't for everyone because when you live very tiny like this, you have to be able to think. You got to be able to problem solve. You got to be able to work it out. You got to be able to figure it out, you know? Because it's not all figured out for you. And then the thing about living tiny also, like it's impossible. It's impossible to keep everything in order 24/7, 365. Give you an example. So, here is my folded dirty clothes pile. These pillows right here and over there, every pillow I have is storage, clothes, yarn, um, and so when I do my laundry, these are all filled with clean clothes. As oh, and these are my jackets right there. I don't have hanging space, so I just keep them in the Goodwill bag that I had. And so as I accumulate dirty clothes, there comes a point to where yes, most of them are in the yellow pillowcases, the golden colored pillowcases. Um, and I can get all of these in there but I'd have to take all them out and put, and I just did that. Like I just did that last week. I just did that last week. So these are my pajamas and a couple of jogging pants that I wore, since then. And for now, it's just like, okay, well, they're gonna be here until I feel like pulling all of it out and putting it in there, or until I do my laundry, and then they all they all get washed and folded and put back in there. You know what I mean? So it's just like little things like that. It's impossible. It's impossible to keep everything in order day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out. It's it's impossible. You got to be okay with that. Because at the end of the day, like I keep my place organized. So little stuff like that don't bother me. I don't care nothing about that. I don't need a hamper. You know what I'm saying? I don't need a hamper to feel comfortable. I don't need a big ass hamper. And this is in my no build, right? So this is just temporary. When I actually get it built out and I have a place for, a place to actually house my dirty clothes, it's still going to be the same thing because it's such a tiny space. It's such a tiny space. And then not to mention up front, you know, not to mention up front, I keep my eggs up front and it's just it's an adjustment for everyone. Some of us go into it just so gung ho, and it's a full, complete lifestyle decision. It's a whole mindset shift. So, from day one, for some of us, it's just like no turning back. No turning back. This is my life, and whatever comes with it. I'm going to adapt and adjust and make it work for me. Just like my plants. When I first moved in back in 2017, there was a whole theme of no one can keep live plants living in a vehicle. Well, I was raised to take care of plants. I have two green hands, and I just set out to prove that whole theory to be a lie. And I have 9 plants and a rosemary, like 10 total, but rosemary is an herb, right? But I have 9 house plants living, all living. And a few of them, like my spider here, has been with me for almost 3 years now, you know? Um, and I've had several. So it's an adjustment. Um, but anything is possible and everything is possible. Everything can be done. I don't advocate or promote mobile dwelling. Let me be clear about that. I do not promote mobile dwelling. I do, however, promote thinking for yourself and alternative living. I do promote that. I think people need to look into buying land. I think people, if people live in a home and whether they're renting a home or living in an apartment, I think on people's downtimes and weekends, they should drive around out in the county and just see if they can spot land and find the owners and look online. I think people need to buy land because that's real ownership in this country, anywhere in the world. Like land, that's real ownership. And you get your mineral rights, you get the gas rights, you get the rights to that land, you cultivate that land. And just from owning land, I just by way of owning land, eventually you can get to where your income is going to come from that. You we're not sheep. We're not sheep. We don't need to be led to slaughter by people that we know are leading us to slaughter. You know what I mean? We know that. Hey, Crystal. I do feel much better. See, Bonnie, that is exactly how they keep. That's why they're called sheep, because some people rather always look at the negative or the downside to everything. Some people would rather look at the downside to everything. But when you own land, actual land, and here's the thing, when you're a thinker, you know that, okay, I'm going to look at agricultural residential land. Because there's different, you got residential, commercial, you have agricultural, you also have agricultural residential, which means you can have a farm, you can have a homestead, and with homestead comes essentially automatic income. You know what I mean? Like, instead of looking at, but that's what I'm saying. They have, people are sheep. People are sheep. I'd rather pay taxes on my land, knowing knowing what I know is that I'm going to have a lot more tax breaks, a lot more tax benefits. I know I have a lot more opportunity to get around these taxes to where I actually don't have to pay. It's just, you know, it's really true about the more you know. And the more you know, the better off. The better off, because this country, for one, is a corporation. This country is established under a DBA. How many of y'all knew that? The United States of America Inc. is what it's a DBA. They're doing business as. This it was established as a business. This pseudo country is a corporation. So you got to see everything from the business vantage point. That's why businesses and business owners get so many tax breaks, because we live in a corporation. And this is public knowledge. This is public knowledge. You can Google right now. This country is a DBA. And that's why employees, workers, sheep, that's why they get fucked the hardest with no Vaseline, because they don't want to think, they don't want to read, they don't want to do their own research. Who was it? Um, FDR? Was it FDR that said, any man who will give up their liberty, freedom, for a false sense of security deserves neither freedom or security. So you'll give up your God commanded right to work from your own hands, make your own way in life for the false sense of security, which is a job, right? That's a false sense of security. Uh, the United States Army, the United States government, they're not here to protect you. That's a false sense of security. So you don't deserve freedom or security. One of the presidents said that. Anyone who's willing to give up their freedom for the false sense of security deserves neither freedom or security. It's not easier to be lazy. It's not easier to not think. It's not easier to not read. It's not easier to not go down rabbit holes. It's not easier to not know what's in your Bill of Rights right here in this country that's doing business as. It's not easier. Your life isn't easier Ignorance is not bliss. Isn't ignorance is the death of you. Ignorance is your bad health. Ignorance is your levels of stress that have you debilitated. Ignorance is dying on a job that you hate because the stress just overtook your body. That's what ignorance gets you as an American, because the information is out there and it's public knowledge. And they used to say, if you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in a book. No, no, no. Because I used to say, well, that don't work on me because I read all the books as a teenager. I was saying that. If you want to hide something from an American, put it in a book. And that's exactly what they've done. All the things you need to know about the United States of America, Inc., is all in books. And Americans don't read none of them books. Americans don't go down none of those rabbit holes. So they want to put our brown face on that. Nah, if you want to hide something from an American, put it in a book because they asses ain't going to take the time to read it. They're not going to take the time to look up words they don't understand. They're not going to take the time to figure out and learn what legalese is. They're not going to take the time for that. They're not going to take the time for that. They're not going to take the time to understand why businesses get all the benefits, because this is a business. That's why. This is a business. This is a business. That's why businesses get all the advantages. That's why true ownership is in buying land, and especially off grid land. You build a well, you dig a well, you have septic, you figure it out. But as long as you need to attach yourself to the grid, they got you. They got you because you want the conveniences. You don't want to have to think. You don't want to have to think. They scare you with the taxes, just like the whole everything that goes for your regular individual, it does not apply to business owners. And you don't have to be a Fortune 500 company to be a business owner, because even those Fortune 500 companies started off as one or two, or just the single grinding entrepreneur that fell on their face, fell on their face, fell on their face, had all the naysayers against them, but they believed in themselves. But the people who don't know and don't bother to read their stories, don't bother to know that even Zara, like Zara was an orphan. He, both his parents, his story is tragic. His story is tragic. A few years ago, I was learning about a bunch of, on my own. When I say learn on my own, I was invested in a bunch of billionaires from around the world. I was learning about their stories are tragic. I'm talking about from birth, everything against them, all odds against them from birth. A Russian guy, like I said, Zara, tragic. But we, especially as Americans, think that the wealthy and the super wealthy think that it was all handed. Think that all of them are third and fourth and fifth generation. Not even realizing that some of them are actually first generation wealth. Not all of them are family wealth. Some of them, they're the ones that created the wealth in their family. They're the first generation. And they had all the odds against them. No parents, adopted, abused, sexually, physically, abandoned. Whoo! Tragic stories, tragic lives. It's a story to me, but it's their life. You know, we don't bother to research that. We don't bother to learn anything about that, to see their resilience and to read about their tenacity and their determination. We just want to complain. We just want to, talk about how we got it bad. Well, we can get on the other side of these taxes. We can get on the other side of some of this shit, you know? And I think that's the good thing about being human. Fuck being American, but being human, being a human being, being at the top of the food chain, being the only creation that can control our own mind and control our own thoughts. If a negative thought come in, okay, we can decide I don't want to ponder on that thought. I don't want that thought to fester inside of me. So I'm going to replace that negative thought that's trying to bring me down with a positive thought. I'm going to create a better feeling inside. All right. All right. Yeah, that happened. I can't change that. But that's a memory in the past. The time is only now. That's it. So I'm not going to allow this intrusive thought of something, of a memory that happened, to affect my current right now. So I'm going to replace my right now with, all right, let me stay focused on my goal and on my plan, because my plan is this right here. So fuck that. Nope. This is all right. The next piece of content I'm gonna create is this. All right, this is how I'm gonna set up. You know what? I want to make my own authentic little skit. All right, so let me focus on that. You know what I mean? We have the ability to do that instead of deciding that we're gonna sit in the funk of woe is me. Because while you think, well, why is this happening to you? Well, why not you? Who better for it to happen to than you? I mean, don't you want what's on the other side of whatever tragedy you're going through? Don't you want to be the person on the other side of whatever you need to overcome? Why not you? Why not you? Why shouldn't it be you? Don't you deserve to have your own hero story? Why not you? You know what I'm saying? Don't you deserve to be the underdog that overcame? Why the fuck not you? I mean, why do you just want to have this life of ease and leisure and soft muscles and a soft brain? Why would you want that for yourself? Why wouldn't you want adversity? Why wouldn't you want, a coarse life? When you get your nails done, they don't use a soft cotton ball to file your nails. They got to use a rough, coarse file to smooth it down. You know what I mean? Like, why not you? So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as you go through your life. So thanks, y'all, for tuning in. And like I said earlier, there is no box, y'all. Think freely. So have a great week ahead and don't let anything get you down. Control your own mind, control your own thoughts, and control your own life. Peace, y'all.